In today's video, we will be discussing the idea of accessibility and inclusion and how to create web-based materials that adhere to the World Wide Web Consortium, the main international standards organization for the Internet. So, what does accessibility mean? In general, accessibility means that people with a disability can perform tasks in a similar amount of time and effort as somebody that does not have a disability. It means that people are empowered, they can be independent, and they will not be frustrated or restricted by materials that are poorly designed or implemented. An excellent resource for individuals who want to create accessible web-based materials is the Understanding WCAG 2.0 webpage. The acronym WCAG stands for Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, which is provided by the W3C, or the World Wide Web Consortium. The WCAG website explains that in order for a web page to be accessible, it must meet 4 specific criteria. In order for a web page to be accessible, it must be perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust. So let's start with perceivable. All information must be presentable to users in ways that they can perceive, and this means that the information must be available to at least one of your senses. For example, color contrast may be useful for a user who has a visual impairment. Maybe a screen reader could benefit somebody who is blind, or visual text for someone who is deaf. The second point, operable. The web page must have navigation tools that all users are able to perform. So for example, when navigating the web page, a user with mobility impairments may not be able to use a mouse and instead requires a keyboard to interact with the interface. An individual may require speech recognition software or different tools to help with page-to-page navigation. Third, understandable. The information and the operation of the user interface must be understandable to the user. This means that the content and operation cannot be beyond the user's understanding. Your users will have a wide range of cognitive abilities, and some users may have a disability, such as dyslexia, or they may be on the autistic spectrum. Therefore, your web page must include fair and simple language for the content. As for the operation of the interface, your web page should have consistent spacing and predictable organization to ease navigation for users. And finally, robust. The content on your web page must be robust enough that it can be interpreted reliably by a wide variety of user agents, including assistive technologies. For example, if a user wants to access the content on a screen reader or various other devices, then the content must be compatible. As technologies advance and evolve, the content should remain accessible. In conclusion, when creating web-based materials that are accessible for all learners, please consider the WCAG's 4 principles of accessibility: perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust. If you are interested in learning more about accessibility guidelines and practices, please visit the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines webpage by clicking on the link provided.